Hey, welcome back. As we left off,
Rain was failing checks again.
Rain tried to intimidate this enemy crew member. You're all in vac suits in this ship. You're on the middle of 3 decks.
How far away is this?
This person is like 2 meters away from Rain, so it'd probably be like 8 or so meters away from you, like within 1 move distance from you at the moment.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong in my opinion of this room, but I get the idea that there's quite a few scattered bits of debris about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would I be able to, using that as cover, make my way round to a flanking position?
So that's really, actually, yes.
Low light and there's a storm going on?
Low light, storm, so if you can give me a sneak roll, absolutely. Because I was going to say, we should roll initiative,
so
but it's entirely reasonable you would start doing that now, you know?
So, you get a -2 for vac suit, yeah?
I'm more or less giving, yeah. It's easier for you to do.
So, shall I do a -1? Now my reasons for -1 is I think I should get a +1 because of the low light and stormy conditions.
No, that's negative to their check.
Okay, cool.
Also, Rain is distracted. Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm gonna let you do it now. And it's also, Neil, there's other doors, so it's one of those things you could leave through another door. They're gonna make a perception check.
That's cool. I agree with it being on their check more. It makes more sense.
So you start, making your way through the debris, moving quietly while, they have Rain and this person have their weapons pointed at each other. But it's one of those things that might not even be full. Their shotgun is kind of still a little lowered. They could instantly just go, but it's not like they're instantly ready to shoot you in the head. Maybe there's going to be some sort of impasse. At this point, Prob, you can start sneaking around. And if you want, you could even start sneaking behind their room. And actually, because you rolled so brilliantly on the exert checks earlier to clear this area, you can actually go completely behind this person.
Cool, I will do that. What do I want that one?
So it's while this is going on that they, this is the voices are being projected through the vac suits. They just speak up. And it's a female voice.
So, I need to fight, but... Can I, at this point, I'm not going to start any combat, but at this point, can I pull out my my knife, which will be described at some point, and begin preparing for an execution?
Yeah. I figured that's what you were doing. This person in the vac suit will just sort of project outwards and be like, "I don't want to kill you. You clearly don't want to kill me, or you would have already.
Just keep it talking, Rain.
You've got a ship. Everyone on this ship is crazy. I don't care about no bounty. We can just go." Still holding the shotgun.
Rain sort of closes her eyes when she hears Prov say that, but then says, "Ain't a call I can make. Give me a moment," and comms to Davis. This girl claims it was a female voice.
As far as you can tell,
yeah.
You can't see the faces in these armored vac suits or anything, and just completely sort of covers the body, but it sounds vaguely feminine.
Also, is there actually? Can I make? I know there isn't an insight equivalent.
It's notice charisma.
Notice charisma. Can I make a notice charisma?
Yeah. Notice charisma is insight, more or less.
Because my immediate thought was, is this the bloody leader? But
it doesn't sound like it was the person you heard on comms before, but they also don't sound entirely genuine. Even if they're not even if they're just a member in this crew of this ship, they're probably an opportunist. Okay. Maybe they intend to steal your ship. Maybe they intend to just kill you out of revenge. There's a slight sort of itchiness about them. Constant movement that belays and a lack of calmness and sort of just they're going to do something at some point, But you can also notice them keep checking your teleline.
So I'm going to say to them, "Ain't a call I can make. Give me a moment." am speaking to my captain.
How long do you need, Prof?
Let me see. Full minute of prep.
That was at least a minute.
Okay, so once the preparation is complete,
Is everyone else getting an echo?
I'm not.
As long as always know that's all that matters. Go ahead.
an assassin may attack an adjacent target. Target's armor class is irrelevant, assuming the weapon, blah, 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 blah. A melee attack always hits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main
roll,
thing is you either decide...
2d6 roll. DC 6, I think?
No. It's
DC 8.
melee. It's melee.
It's melee, always hits.
Oh, always hits him. Yeah.
But you get to decide whether you kill them instantly or leave them dying.
If the attack hits, it does maximum damage, and your victim must immediately make a physical saving throw at a penalty equal to the attacker's combat skill, or they will be mortally wounded on the spot.
That's the thing. Alright, so you gonna execute?
Yeah.
Okay. They are going to make a, what was it, martial thing?
Oh, what's
Yeah,
the penalty,
so
Neil?
It automatically hits and does maximum damage, which is 1d6 plus 1, so 7 damage.
7 damage.
And my penalty, is it relying simply on my skill or my attack bonus
Your
as well?
skill. So,
So it takes a minus my... Oh, no,
-1.
no, it doesn't take any minus.
Oh, do you not have
You don't
stab?
have
plus
you
zero.
don't have a 1 for stab?
No, no.
No, it's a because he kind of made it so you could do like this assassin-y thing. So there's like sneak. He's got a lot of a couple of cool zeros. Okay, so they make a save. They fail. So describe this assassination.
So this big, bulky suit is crouched down, and you see the hand. Rain would see it, obviously, but no one else.
The
You see
camera
hand
sees.
reaches down into the boot, and this long blade, and you can see it's sort of iridescent in the very low light. You can see with your goggles, but it's a weird thing to see. And he flips the hand grip so it's down, and then he slowly creeps up, and just brings it into the throat with one single motion, and just holds it there for a second, pulls it sideways, then pulls out.
Yeah, there's like a moment of struggle before they go like very quickly.
Suit depressurizes.
And it'd be one of the things. No, not only does the suit depressurize, the blood starts like splurting, pressurized out of the neck. Kind of luckily away from Rain, but very close. You know, it's a cone.
It's a breath attack.
Yeah. You hear Rain sigh over the column and then, "Oh, Claire, let's get this box out of here."
Any trouble?
Survivor. Last vac suit, as I said.
As this conversation is happening, the life sign would just disappear from your display, Davis.
I thought maybe, just maybe, we wouldn't have to kill her, but she was gonna do something if we brought her back. No,
It's alright, Rain. This wasn't a rescue mission.
No, I know. I mean, into hung up over it. Just stupid death, stupid death. But yeah, let's get out of here.
Don't trust people.
And you like lift the box up and start making your way back.
As they're making their way back, how long have they been in there?
Around now, it'd be about 30 minutes. So they've got plenty time to get back.
Did they see anything on their way in or way out that'd be worth grabbing other than like vac suits or something like that we already have a supply of in this vessel?
Well, that's up to you guys if you want to start looking around with loot in mind.
I mean, that's up to them for what their characters do.
At a glance, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, because mostly it's surviving and the ship is falling apart, right?
The woman they just killed, did she have a weapon on her hands?
Shotgun.
I think I'd pick up the shotgun.
This ship has an armory, by the way, so you have one of everything essentially.
Oh, that's
We're not
true,
counting heavy
that's true.
weapons.
I'd still just probably out of habit as much as anything pick up the
Why
shotgun.
not, right?
But Davis said just get in, get the box, get back. So I'm not
Yep.
going to search around.
Pick up the shotgun, just sort of carry it in one hand as you.
I
go back.
agree. I mean, it's sort of like as well when you're in a hostile area. If you take down a hostile, you don't necessarily want to leave that weapon lying about.
No, exactly, and that's one of the big things about probs, like character and skills, is leaving no trace, despite being a big burly guy. So You don't need to do any sort of checks to actually get back out. The ship actually noticeably has shifted. Not so much that you noticed it when you're walking around, but when you're trying to get out the airlock, you have to kind of like climb a bit to get out. But the airlock was like up anyway, but it had ladders. To get back into the ship would be, you know, just a recoil of the tethers while you're right there, and so much. No rolls that need to be done to get back in the ship. Carrying the box.
Get the tethers to pull up while I bear hug the box.
Yeah, exactly. Get back in the airlock, close the airlock, hit with nice cool air.
As soon as like everything's locked, I can see their signs are in there, everything's good to go. Maybe even see them on the interior cameras. I'm gonna say, Miria, could you do the honors?
Yeah,
Referring to the weapons position.
Oh,
As we move away a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. She'll just kind of like, as the ship, you know, you start flying away, just firing back, and just destroying anything that's left. It's just going to be slag that will eventually be
Yeah,
mined
it's kind
up
of the
by
perfect
someone.
world for a traceless kill, isn't it?
It really is.
We mark it on our map for future piracy. Take my husband, I will be the worst pirate there ever was.
Look, I'm just saying, pirate game will be real fun in this rule set.
You know, he's
maybe
in
a
a
future
dark
show.
moment. Davis is in a dark moment.
So,
he's not wearing a uniform.
You guys can come back in, like, your suits are covered in, like, a little bit of, like, debris and particulate and stuff that the airlock has to take a little bit of time, like, decontaminating. But after maybe, like, 5 minutes, you can step out and put the black box somewhere. And at that time, Anna is starting a much slower, more careful exit of Quartos' atmosphere.
Okay.
What's the plan?
So, we would make our way, like you were just saying, that we just exit the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's
we
just a
make our way-
slower process, you know.
Yeah. We as soon as we like leave the atmosphere, we're clear, and we check like the long range scanners to make sure nobody followed us here. It doesn't seem like this is going to be any bit of an issue. Which is it?
Nope. You are not on any sort of scan lock or weapons lock or anything like that.
Okay, then I
Always into stealth.
Well,
I
you
would
are a
actually-
stealth ship just by standing. So
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
you have a sensor mask, which basically means you're much harder to track.
I would actually send Miria, Prov, and Anna all together to go work on that black box and see what they can peel apart from it, because that's like all of our smarts of the crew, and then have Henrique take over the piloting for now, and we don't necessarily need a comms because I can work that.
Exactly, just so the ship is going, and you fly, you know, just out of the the gravity of the planet to plan.
We're not jumping or anything like that right now. We're staying and and
work out what
see
you're
what we
gonna
can. Exactly.
Okay, so with that, and this is. What's your program at? Did you have a -1 program, Mr.?
Usually when Ollie says with that means you're going to a break. So I was like, wait, what time is it already? Oh, it's 3:21. Okay. Like, did that just happen?
Were you asking me?
Yeah, I'm just looking at your skills.
Yeah, -1. I'd use a fixed dex to delicately take.
I was literally thinking. I was thinking on break whether you can
with my
justify
meta
a
tool
fix
to delicately take out the bit.
with. Yes. So basically, take out the like.
Presumably, this is like a powerful computer with processing capability alongside data storage. So we could just whip out the data storage modules.
Well, exactly, and
then
that's
plug 'em in.
entirely reasonable. So in that case, a fix intelligence with, or actually, fix dexterity to be incredibly like thieves' tool about it with a +2. They're giving you the actual knowledge of what to take out while you.
I imagine she's the int and she's the administrative. So I'm not in the right tab.
That's good enough. This takes time. This would take basically, the rest of the day, where most of the crew is already tired anyway, and literally one of the reasons why Henrique is taking the thing is so that Anna can sleep and stuff like that. You have 2 pilots now. You can actually do 2 shifts. So it takes you a good deal of time to remove the right parts of the data banks. You haven't like gone in or checked anything like that. You removed, the last X amount of time, the most recent one, the one that's being filled. You can always check back for other ones later, but you're kind of the idea you wanted to get this for, Davis, was to check, where they've been recently.
Basically,
Assumingly?
we copy the data and send it over to Davis's compad so that he can look. I think he wants to see like where the bounty was placed from.
Exactly. And with that, Davis, why don't you give me a why don't you give me an Minister Intelligence sift through this information?
Oh, I was gonna.
Do I get a bonus from someone?
Unless do you want to give someone the job to help you?
I mean, I roll. I'm a Minister 0, Intelligence 1. So if somebody wants to assist, I'll take a +1.
Pretty much the rest of the crew is heading to bed aside from Enrique, unless the PCs want to help.
No, I if they need their rest, I'll let them rest.
No, I think based on what Rain has said previously to Davis, she would, if she sees him, like if everyone else is heading to bed and he's clearly about to start pouring over something, she would just be like, boss, can I help out?
Well, she actually has been on more or less downtime since she got back, whereas because she didn't have a task. So I look at her, and it's one of those like contemplative moments where I'm kind of like weighing my options, and then after like it's like a drawn out decision making process, I say, put it in a pot, and
Did you say?
like put it in a pot, like a pot of coffee.
Oh, that
As opposed to a
was so
kettle.
accented
Put
and
on the
American.
kettle.
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
put
I
on a
just
pot.
had a bunch of peas and tea.
Yeah, put on a pot.
Yeah,
Put on a
exactly.
pot.
Put on a pot.
You mean
And
boil
you'll-
the kettle?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
you'll boil
On the
coffee.
kettle.
This is this is a coffee ship.
Well, hold on. Here's a question: is it auto drip or is it espresso or is it like a combo?
It would have a coffee maker thing. I don't know.
It'd be an espresso.
Espresso, I'm cool with. Okay.
Yeah, you
prefer
guys know
espresso.
more about coffee than me to figure out what would make more sense.
I love espresso.
And this ship actually has like a pretty nice like kitchen and cooking facility and all that sort of stuff. So you can probably sit, in like the mess hall and go over this information. That gives you a nice +1 because Rain is, kind of scanning
Coffee-
through. And it's
coffee
not exactly
gives
that
you
Rain it's not exactly that Rain knows what she's doing, but two sets of eyes.
The compad has a search function.
I mentioned not only is it two sets
And
of
she's
eyes,
empathic.
but Rain is also I was going to say a calming presence to have with you. She kind of keeps your mind focused
Yeah,
and
exactly.
on like
It's
the
like
task at
having
hand, like
rain on the
keeping-
window.
So,
Oh.
anyways, here's my roll.
What's that?
This is a critical success.
Oh yes!
Whoa,
Hell yeah!
again?
So you go
Oh
through
my
this
God.
information. You work out.
It's critical success. My last roll, mind you, was natty once. So
That's
No, it's
true.
nothing. It's just a success. It's just critical. It's nothing. It's nothing, though. But it's just a critical. You go through this. You go over this the night, drinking coffee instead of sleeping, as all good captains do. Start going over all of this information and scouring it. For the most part, where this ship's been isn't interesting. It mostly berths at Novus, which makes sense for it being that sort of, a rich person's ship. In various docks and things. But what is incredibly interesting is when you start going over not where this ship's been, but the backups of every ship terminal on board the ship, which not every ship does, but it is sort of, the standard system. So you can do this sort of thing, mostly so that crimes can be recorded and stuff. That there is a message, not only where the bounty was issued, because the bounty message that you guys saw was kind of public. This was a private sort of tight beam communication, not via text or anything like that. It was actually a video.
Ooh,
And on the video,
okay.
you see a...
I definitely watch it and open with Rain. So there's no like hiding or anything like that.
exactly. On the video, you see a man that you assume to be, the Excalibur, which the sort of terrorist organization Excalibur works on behalf of, and he is the head of. But not wearing the mask. You've seen him wear the mask on like the other terrorist message, and while you're doing research and things, you can see like the mask is in view on this camera. But who you see is a fucking attractive, fairly dark-skinned man with, you know, black hair and a black beard. It's all in dreadlocks. There's many beads and adornments all over it. There's like a sword tattoo under an eye. He's a handsome man if you're into that kind of thing, and I am. And he's wearing some body armor. And in this message, he basically explains why this bounty is being taken out, and he mentions the big one. It's like, we don't want them to mess up the big one. And you immediately start going into everything about this video. Video and camera and pictures store metadata inside them, which you start scrubbing through using all sorts of software, using the ship's processing capabilities. This video was recorded under the waters on the planet of Ballista. Ballista is in the Pike system, and it is a aquatic world where a lot of the you keep going to Halberd. I think I've been calling Halberd Ballista by accident sometimes, but Ballista is an aquatic world where there are cities on the surface on islands. Where a lot of, you know, there's like research facilities, there's also like nice places for the rich and famous because there's lots of beautiful views and things. But this was recorded under the waters on that planet, and this isn't immediately going to give you even the coordinates to go there, but it gives you the fucking start, you know, like a real good advantage if you ever want to try finding that. Underwater facilities are not very common. So maybe it takes you a couple of double takes, and like you don't know any in the military. You know some like under ice facilities, but not like underwater facilities.
Underwater is so much more difficult than space.
Exactly.
So
It's too much work, but it also makes it really hard to find. Which would be perfect for a little terrorist organization. And that seems to be a base for Excalibur, something of the sort. It also was not was done, so it was the message was sent from a base there, but it was recorded in a ship, and you then start taking the information from that ship as well, because that's all in the metadata. And that's when I realized I don't have my Ardent notes Word document open, and I will open it.
I do that all the time on friggin' LI. I'm the worst. I'm like, oh, here's my notes. Oh, there they are. Give me 10 minutes. Hold on.
The ship's name is the King Arthur.
Of course it is. It's Excalibur.
Exactly. It's a patrol boat ship with aquatic systems. It seems to be the rich and famous on planets like this enjoy racing ships. Going as fast as possible, and it seems to be a ship of that kind, retrofitted to be an actual combat vessel with actual plasma technology that's particularly been stolen from the military. But for the rest of it, it's pretty similar to your ship, although it does have a self-defense drones that can, you know, draw fire from enemy vessels. You basically get like an entire readout of this ship while you're going through the metadata, which is perfect because you're planning to destroy it at some point.
Okay.
So you know their capabilities.
We know they have self-defense drones. Does it give us a make, model, or any details like that?
The make model, it's custom, but it's basically, you know, like a redesigned version of one of those racing ships that would be found in like.
My apologies. The drones.
Oh, the drone. They're not like drones. They are the Foxer drones attachment to ships, which I believe allow you to just negate a hit against your ship.
So the reason why I'm bringing up the question as to whether or not I can set off my engineering team over the course of a span of a long period of time to either hack or even just neutralize. Hack enough to just neutralize, as opposed to turn back.
Let me check. I'm actually thinking of the thing I am thinking here. No, they don't negate a ship. They give you more AC, because they basically, you know, they what these drones do is they basically go off in a direction similar to flares, but flares in a world where combat is basically a lot of automatic aiming, so they confuse computers. So those drones are usually custom made, but I think it's entirely reasonable that it's something you could try to make a countermeasure for a countermeasure.
Okay, cool. I once again, I'll make that 1999 reference. It's the Buster, but nobody knows what that is, because
no, I don't get it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. And then there's the Buster. Anyways, so it makes me happy. So we get all this information and everything, and so after we watch that video, I'm gonna like slump back into my chair and think about it for a few moments. Like I'm clearly being contemplative, Rye. I'm clearly Rain. I said Rye. It's so old school.
I was gonna let that slide, but you know what?
Rain. I just being very contemplative about what I just transpired there. Why do I hear an echo? It's just me.
No, I hear it a little bit now. It's usually Ian in some way.
Usually it's probably my microphone being shitty again.
Oh, okay.
He'll just give it a little tweak and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Just tell me if it gets any worse or if you
Tweak
want.
it
It's
like
not
a goblin
bad.
nipple.
It's just like a little.
Okay.
Just messes with Scott.
I hear my own voice and I understand why other people get angry when they listen to
He
me.
starts growling. He's like a dog who sees himself.
I've been over this before. Scott on Discord sounds like a regular human being. Scott on anything else sounds like a giant, and I hate it.
On Discord, I have the everything turned, the input turned way down. So
And it sounds good.
yeah, if I do it on Zoom though, it quiets me so much that you can't hear me. I get complaints.
Yeah.
So moving on. So the
Go over that. You scroll through all the metadata. You spend basically the night on it.
yeah. So Rain would see me be like extremely contemplative about it and probably like completely zoned out after viewing of the video. You know what I mean? And then parsing through a bit more information. I get a bit more reclusive. Like whereas before we're probably having a little bit of like conversation and whatnot and a bit of collaborative work. I get very isolated.
So Rain will stand up and just looks like we got everything from that we're gonna get, boss. Why not have a rest, go to bed, sleep on it, work it through with the rest of the crew in the morning.
I have a few more things I need to look up, but sleep is probably good. Go get you some.
Roger that, boss. See you in the morning.
I'll spend the rest of my time not sleeping because I'm an idiot and trying to.
Rain was looking out for you, goddammit!
He's a captain. He gets to ignore it if he wants.
I'm gonna look for all the ports where she had docked, specifically all the stations where she would have docked, and any reports of other ships she would have communicated with at those stations. Though I understand not all the information is really even with a critical success, there's some things that you just don't have files of or whatever.
Exactly.
So try to parse through it and then triangulate like here to there, which like the order of closest to furthest, like hitting like points on Google Maps, right?
Where she's
different
been.
destinations. Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe if we want to find more information, we have to find it from others at the ports that she's been to. I set that up, but we're not giving that order because we have to speak to the crew first.
Yeah, you essentially like set that up to like automate while you're thinking it through and stuff like that.
No, it makes me sad.
When everybody gets up and starts getting like ready and everything, it's around that time that he would like go and take like a long shower and do one of those like half asleep 1 hour long showers and have breakfast as opposed to actually sleeping. But go ahead.
The information you get when you like come back to your computer about that is more or less kind of what I said before, but in more detail. This ship had mostly been bouncing around different places on Novus. I think it's been to basically everywhere on Novus recently. It spent quite a lot of time on Tongol, which is a gas giant with a lot of mining facilities that actually, Davis, you do know, has a little bit of reputation to being a place where bounty hunters occasionally rest their head. It's actually birthed in Novus itself in the cities and things regularly. And it also spent some time in the Jorinth system, both on Jorinth itself and Asp, which is like a small planet that has a lot of cities on it. It's often said to be where all the admin and administration in the Novus Concord happens, where all corporations lay their heads for tax reasons, of course. So that's sort of where she's been bouncing around. She never went to Pike, never went to Quartos until you were around. Kind of was just bouncing between those in like the last months.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So when we all get together, the crew get back together and everything, I'll play the video. Like when I get the whole crew's attention, just like the basic opening. I don't have to like
Yeah, exactly.
say the whole
Go
thing,
in
but
the
basic
meeting
opening
for the
and
brief.
get their attention. Be like, this is what we were able to fully pull from the black box last night, and kind of like throw up the highlights and the details, things that are quick notes. Give like a lecture about it, but like less professor and more like commander.
Yeah.
And then finish it with the video for everybody to see and kind of gauge their reactions.
So most of the crew.
Neil, that's to you.
Yeah. You are part of the crew. You are the crew member who hasn't seen this yet, who is a person.
You ready for this?
You don't even know what we're asking for because you weren't
Providence.
listening, but that's okay, Ollie.
I was. Prov doesn't seem to have much of a reaction to this whole slew of information. At one point, it looks like he sort of crinkles his brow in thought. When you're talking about the whole situation afterwards, but that's mostly it. He doesn't seem to be particularly vested in the situation.
Okay. So there's no surprise really. So how about the rest of the crew? Anybody else?
The rest of the
Give
crew
me
is
anything.
pretty interesting. I mean, Serrano, who gave you this job, is like, this is a breakthrough, and you got all this information from that. That
Took
could be
us
the
one night.
That gives us an amazing. Now we know somewhere a vector to attack, and then beyond that, he refers to the big one, which most likely is going to be some sort of attack that's going to happen soon. If we get more information about that, then we can stop it before they get even anywhere close to it. And that's more or less what the two other crew members that he brought onto the ship, Henrique and Miria, are sort of like. Miria is just sort of like chewing gum and watching. Henrique kind of is similar, no sort of visceral reaction, but would maybe like chat a bit about how sort of, it would be the perfect place to hide. They are a pike-based terrorist group, so it does make sense that they're in the system. They were looking for something like that. Anna just sort of goes like, have to fix this ship up if you want it to go underwater.
I honestly, that was the first time that crossed my character's mind, probably because
you just don't think about it,
Yeah, also lack of sleep and stuff too.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, because his head's almost underwater right now, so he'd think to himself like it actually catches him off guard where he blinks a couple times and then looks over at her and says, "What?"
Ships like this are designed for no pressure. Underwater, there's a lot of pressure. It'll crush us like a can. And at that point, she crushes a can.
No, I understand that, but retrofitting the ship to go underwater sounds like a lot of work, wasted resources, and time.
It would.
Couldn't we just utilize a local vehicle after we land on an atmosphere?
She kind of she's clearly probably never been to that planet because she's of the criminal element and not the upper crust. But she kind of nods, of course it's an idea, and then actually Henrique would say, well, yeah, but there's not many ships do things underwater, but maybe we could get some sort of maintenance vessel. A lot of the planet, the cities on that vessel, on that planet, have underwater facilities. I mean, you keep reactors underwater so they can be cooled and things like that. If we could acquire a maintenance vessel that could work as a little submarine, that could work.
I think we could save time and resources if we were to gain access to a second-hand vessel and make our tweaks and repairs to that rather than trying to retrofit an entire spaceship, especially one that's designed for stealth and is not subaquatic adventures.
Seems smart, Captain.
I look to my engineer, my chief engineer, to see how his opinion on that matter is.
If you give me the bits, I can probably work something out. I used to make boats back in the day. Only small and made from wood, but same idea, innit?
That concerns me a little.
Space, it'll float in water.
Yep, that concerns me a little bit more. But okay, so I go. Then that'll be the plan we take there. Now we know that we want to swing by that one planet, but I also worked on this a little bit later into the night. He says, poignantly avoiding eye contact with Rain.
Rain is just like glaring at him and sort of like mumbles under her breath. Said he was gonna go to bed.
At that point, you'd probably bring up the last place she spent most of her time, which would be, one of the stations around Tongle.
It's almost like the backtracking of the different stations that should have gone before there, and again, any information that people should have contacted, because it's like
It's
their leads if we choose to go that path.
It's your thought process you would have as a smart boy would be, when around the time this message was given, she was at this station. So that would be the first place to look, right?
Yep. Everybody's yawning today, like crazy.
Especially because that message.
I know. I can't help it.
It's like I can't shake it. I'm not trying to be I'm like
I
keep
literally
yawning so much.
I just had
It's just one of those days.
an espresso as well.
No, but even you, Neil, like Neil, before, like when you first jumped to the call, for me it was 8:30 in the morning, 8:35ish or whatever. For you, it was like 5 hours later. You had yawned entering that call, and I was like, it's gonna be one of them days, and it has been. So
Yeah, a lot more work I had for you, Scott.
it's like, oh god.
Especially because
sorry,
you do something of note from your crit as well. I didn't tell you that video, yes, was beamed somewhere, but it then was uploaded manually to the terminals on the ship. So there would have been a handoff that would have taken place on this station around that planet. And planet, as being a gas giant with lots of mining facilities, there are multiple stations there.
Yeah. Okay.
But this you have like this is actually a place there, that you could aim at. And just a reminder, actually at this point, Serrano will say, "Are you planning on heading back to Pike soon, or should I charter different ways back to my office?"
We follow through with our promises.
I appreciate that.
Besides, we're going to have to make a decision as exactly what our next course of action is going to be. It'll give us time to contemplate. And I'll actually look over to Anna and say, can you begin plotting to the course to give what's his rank again? Admiral, General, Douchebro?
Captain.
Something high.
Irregular.
I don't know. I don't get military thing. I have it somewhere, but it doesn't.
Do you have specified ranks for
no,
your military
exactly.
in this game?
I have it here. On Jason's shit, commander.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a commander.
Of course, Jason knew.
But yeah, exactly. You can.
I'm a commander.
I think that's exactly the thing you said last time as well. It came up. Yeah, she'll just sort of go back to the. She'll just sort of go back to the bridge and start plotting that course, and the ship will start turning and stuff.
Cool. So and then start.
This is a fast ship. It'll only take a couple of days.
Yep. And so start plotting the course for us to get there. And then it's really just, now this is a matter of out of game talk instead of having all this in game, just between us and like the PCs or whatever. Because, Davis calls the shots, but we're a bunch of PCs, right?
We're a team.
So between like side conversations in character and just like various bits of research.
Planning.
Where is it you guys would like to, from everything that Ollie said, where is it you guys would like to go? Like, because I was saying one option would be backtrack her various contacts until she set out to kill, Jason. Just kidding. She tried to kill Tomaz and we murdered the bitch. The Twitch streamer. Fuck Twitch streamers. And then we, or we can go to the water world, to where the hoity-toity people are.
So it sounds to me like the best place
Kiminorians, whatever they're called.
is Tongle. That's certainly sounded like the best lead.
Well, I mean, it depends on what we're aiming for, because if we want to just find out what Excalibur are up to and such like, then going to Ballista, going to one of their bases is more likely to have information on what they're up to. It's more dangerous, perhaps.
Yeah, right.
More direct.
So I agree with you, it's more direct, but we're all going to get Jasoned.
Yeah.
So
And remember,
Tongle-
you have a this is a drive 2 ship, which is you are abnormally fast.
Fast, yeah.
So you can
So Tongle-
can afford to go off to a fight a lead for a bit.
So Tongle actually sounds like, to me, a better idea than going straight to Ballista and going that direct route thus far. I like to do a little bit more research and planning before we kind of like dive into what we're getting ourselves into. But if we're going to go to Tongle, and this is maybe me being too indirect, I like the idea of swinging by Novus, and even if it's so much as just making connect checks or whatever it is, seeing if we can find anybody that's worth having RP moments with to pull information from. So I like the idea of swinging by Novus, spending maybe like a day or so, maybe 2 days there, making connect checks. Success or failure brings that to Tongle or otherwise, because success can do, right? Or critical failures can do. How do you guys feel about that?
The other member of the crews would probably think that's a smart idea.
Okay, and Ian, were you mentioning that? Were you just stating facts about Ballista, or was that kind of the way you were leaning?
It was more facts than anything else.
Okay.
I would just point out, I mean, it's not exactly what you're talking about with connects, but I do have. That is actually my ability.
Yeah.
You're remarkably gifted at making friends. Yes. So I was referring to connect checks as in like the skill check.
Yeah, I know you were referring to that,
but yours actually even better at that. So you can do that. That's fucking awesome. So at least a week.
It does take a week. That is the downside. So I mean, I do have Connect 0, but I have Charisma 0 as well. So I'd be making flat checks on it.
Yeah, I have Connect 0, Charisma 1. Yeah. I have Connect 0, Charisma 1. So I mean, that's good. But your like, what is it called? Foci is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm guaranteed, but it takes me time, basically.
It might be worth taking the week just to guarantee stuff and stuff like that. But that's
I don't know. It's how pressed for time do we feel?
They mentioned the big one, but they didn't mention any time limit. But they wanted to kill you before the big one.
Yeah, we just don't know what the big one is, when it is, or anything like that. How are you feeling about this, Neil? I've just been talking to Ian.
So Tongle seems like a good lead. Novus doesn't seem half bad. However, as you just pointed out, if we were on the clock, it could just be wasted time. Depending on the rolls we get.
Bear in mind, it takes this ship a day to go between Tongle and Novus.
Exactly. So if it only takes a day to go between, and then
you could always go to one and then the other.
But if we're spending a day there, like, think about that in terms of travel time.
Exactly.
Like, I almost want to say, drop rain on the planet with like 1 or 2 people, probably 1 person, and then come back and collect her later. But I hate the idea of splitting the party in space because it's not like across town, right? It's like a fucking across
space, yeah. It's
across the system. Otherwise, I'd completely agree that would be a good idea.
But if it was just like a city in D&D, then yeah.
I mean,
D&D, I'm like all for it, but here,
like it's a bit. There's a lot of things could go wrong.
She's like, I can teleport.
I can teleport 100 meters.
The way I see it, right? If we find the actual Excalibur operatives on Tongle, we can find out more information, probably, about the big one. Hunting down the leader of Excalibur is something we can do at any point.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, that the base uploaded the video. What I understood from what Ollie said, the base uploaded the video, but the video was recorded on a ship that wasn't necessarily at the base. Is that...
So, it was recorded on a ship and then sent off via the base and then handed over manually.
Right.
So there's no reason to believe the ship was at the base.
Yeah, just because we critted, that's why we were able to find out that much information.
Yeah, so that's exactly what
you got the big one.
The big one, yeah. So that's why I was thinking going to Novus first is important, because that's where it would have been handed off. So our contact would have been on Novus.
It would have been handed off at Tongle.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She spent a lot of time. Yeah, she spent a lot of time on Novus as well, but the handoff happened explicitly on this station at Tongle.
I'm so sorry.
Logically,
okay.
Based on timing.
So still, I like the idea of swinging by Novus, but where things stand right now, I'm going to have to switch to Tongle first, Novus second, because that way we can do. Yeah. Are you in agreement on this, Ian?
I'm not against it. I have no. There are the way I see it is just different ways of doing it. Some are more dangerous, some are less dangerous, and I'm not. I'm
You'll get different information in different ways.
Yeah.
The
Worst thing that happens going to Tongle first is that it turns out to be a dead lead or something. We
Yeah.
might find some more information on the base on Ballista, and then we can assault it easier.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it this way, killing him isn't as much of a kick in the face or slap in the face as stopping the big one.
Or just destroying.
Yeah,
the
they were
entire
already
organization
very
around
angry
him.
that you stopped one
Like,
thing.
if we stop his big operation, he's going to be so pissed, and then we come and kill him anyway. But,
Yeah.
like, obviously, he'd then just become a martyr if we killed him to the rest of
No,
us.
I'm fine with this transition to going to Tongle first. I want to be able to use Ian's ability, but I don't want to be pressed for time because we're like, it takes so long when we have somewhere else to get at least one
exactly,
ballistic.
yeah.
So let's go to the one that I'm personally feeling pressed for time on. Maybe you guys are as well. And then we can go and kind of kick off our shoes and let Ian do his shit. Okay, cool. All right. Well, mind you, Ian's also the combat one, so he's also doing
But
that shit.
first of all, you're going to go to Pike to drop off Serrano, which
Oh,
means...
fuck that guy. We just space him. Like, as soon as we get within the system, we're just like,
Yeah, we tell all
That's
the others,
close
like,
enough.
we tell all the others, we're like, we are docked now. He's going to the airlock because we're docked. Bye, commander.
Well, it's only going to be 9 days to get to Tongle now.
They did that, just so you know, in what's that TV show we watched, Ollie?
Expanse?
Expanse. They did that in Expanse. They're like, yep.
I've watched it. When did they do that?
They're like, we're docked now. Yep, we're docked. Okay, everybody here, everybody there.
All the refugees. They're like, come this way for transfer to a different ship. Yeah,
Yeah. And then it's like, it's like, you got me. That was good. Like, you got me, director.
So, you immediately start punching back towards Pike. All this stuff going on to Pike is going to happen very quickly because it's not the focus right now. You actually get to Pike with ease. The punch in this ship is so punching in the Magpie, things fall over, things break. Punching in this ship, it still feels like you're getting punched. But these chairs, like, if you're on the bridge while you're doing it, you can just actually kind of, like, relax for that initial moment, and the moment is a lot faster as well, which is worse for pain, but better for, like, actually doing things. So you actually punch, and while you're punching, you travel at greater speeds because you have a better drive. So getting to Pike only takes you a couple of days, in which time...
drives punchier. Just saying.
Yeah. The new drive is punchier. By a factor of 2. You can be doing odd jobs like going over the information even more, checking like things on the black box, making sure those vac suits weren't truly damaged, cleaning repair.
Ship schematics.
Yeah,
I'm trying to learn something about shit.
Well, exactly, and also like cleaning the armored vac suits so they're perfect for next time. When you get to Pike, because the way I do it with Stars and Number, you can basically punch 2 planets if you want. You immediately go to the into the planet and blow up, and you go to the northern polar cap, where there is this hidden, but I mean you're a flying vessel, base there. Seems quite advanced. Actually, is mostly hidden. Has the same sort of sensor masking that this ship does.
Are we able to dry dock there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah, you land and dock fully.
We don't space him.
Yeah, you land and dock fully, and he gets off, and he'll give you like a handshake, Davis, and be like, if there's anything you need, this base, this ship will always be welcome at this base.
He nods and says, well, there was that scrap we just got into, and I'll actually pull up a list of repairs that I already need.
Your ship doesn't need much repairing at all.
Well, no, I know, because he was actually able to do like...
But it's the proper, like, really fixing the panels.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the proper, let's keep it in its proper... I'm a military boy, right?
Exactly.
And scene functioning and
yeah, you've got a lot of that poly filler, which you want to replace with actual paneling and stuff, and that would only take you about, like, the rest of the day. With their teams
so I have an itemized
made this
report
shit, probably. Yeah, exactly. And you do that, and then you take off. Probably also, making sure you have things in the armory. If you want to change weaponry and stuff, this is a good time to do it. Anything that I've said is like already okay. And then you start the long punch back to Novus, but you actually don't need to do the bounce to Quartos. You can just go straight to the jewel in the heart of colonized space to Novus. And while Scott coughs himself to death, why don't we take a break? Because he needs one.
We'll be back without Scott in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Before we take a break, two questions. Because I don't want to break momentum for the next hour. Two questions. One, the armory, does that only include weapons? Does it include armor as well?
You know, good question.
Because my armor is good, but they might need upgrades.
Well, the thing is, both of you have... They both have armor that's better for them, because they both have the highest quality street armor available. Don't you?
I actually...
Or did you take Ironclad?
I've got Ironhide.
Yeah, so doesn't matter for you. Rain's happy with her armor. The rest of the crew's fine.
I do want like one of those cool assassin suits.
Definitely not.
No, you don't. I don't mean an actual stealth suit. You know what I mean?
No, like an actual like stealth body form suit.
Yeah, an actual suit.
I think that's entirely reasonable to get something like that while you were docked there.
It makes no difference.
No, it makes no difference exactly, which is why you can do it.
My apologies. I don't necessarily mean docked there. I mean in the armory that's already on the vessel.
Well, I know, but I was saying because you can restock your armory.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
But like yes, but no one needs anything.
Okay, cool.
So you can say that the armory has like a spare suit of your armor and a spare suit of like the under armor, but like not much more than that.
Does it keep things like the explosives? What are they called? Demo charges and grenades.
You could keep your grenades and demo charges there. You could requisition.
But we have to acquire those ourselves.
Yeah.
Hey boys, who's got some creds?
30.
Shifty eyes. Heavy shifty eyes.
I don't think we've been paid at all.
For the previous job.
You got given a ship instead.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I have 400 credits. I don't have the PDF open.
I got 250.
Okay, and then the last thing, and this is while you're looking up that kind of stuff, Ollie. My character has never been on a Pike secret base before, and he comes from a Novus background. I mean, we don't need to go into this whole big RP thing about it, but would there be anything of significance or note that he would, like, he's obviously garnering information left and right, and again, he's a ranking officer in the Novus. So
would you go? Would you go like walk around the place?
Absolutely, that's what I mean. It's like while the ship's getting repaired because we need them. Absolutely.
Oh shit! It's all like he's a fucking spy. Yeah, no,
we need repairs, mate.
You get to go around with ease, but there's nothing you immediately notice. I mean, the existence of this base is important. This is really where their covert ops things go around. This seems to be the only spaceship you have is yours, as well as maybe a couple of shuttles. But there's a lot of like planetary vehicles. For defense and getting off strike teams. They're the Rainbow Six of this planet. They're going to go off and do important jobs, mostly counterterrorism. But maybe the fact that you have explored this facility might be useful in the future with your skills and things. Grenades are 25 cost each, but you can get them for 20 here. You know what? You get a little bit of a staff discount. Demo charges are 250 each, so you're probably not getting any of them.
I think we still have a demo charge, don't we? Did I pick one up at one point along the way? Am I confusing something? I think there's one on my character sheet. Actually, let me scroll down.
You did pick one up.
I do. So I have a demo charge. Not worried about that.
So that can easily be in the armory.
I have 400 credits. I will gladly, unless you guys want more, 5 grenades for 100 creds. I will gladly spend that.
Why not, right? Keep them around in the armory in case you need them.
And I imagine for you, Ian, grabbing like 3 of those grenades and 1 for each of us would be good. And I say you because you can go, just gonna drop them and teleport away.
This is literally can.
So unless you guys want more than, I'm gonna give 3 to Ian because I think the way that the weight works on those.
They're 3 for 1.
3 for one encumbrance.
I think. They are encumbrance 1 each actually.
Oh,
yeah.
That sucks ball sacks.
Because they're not your traditional frag grenades. They're like proper advanced tech. That does kind of suck. But
I believe the term is meat boys, sir. They are not your traditional grenade. They are meat boys.
Super.
All right, so
kind of sucks. What can you do?
Did you want more than 1, Neil? Or are you good?
I Let me look at my encumbrance. I could carry many stowed, but none
Exactly
ready.
right. Yeah. You can have just a couple in like your bag.
Yeah, actually, I technically can't even have 3 stowed. I'm at 9 out of 11 stowed. So
Oh, that's crazy. We could put them inside the armory. So I'm going to put 2 inside the armory, and 3 on our person. And let's cut to break for Ollie. Thanks, Ollie. Sorry, I just
Awesome.
wanted to do that.
No, it's good to get the admin work done now because now you're going off to objectives. So
Tongle,
we'll be back in like 5 minutes as Neil melts away into a jabber over here.
I'm putting extra grenades on the emblem character sheet.
Yeah, please.